Hey, Lisa, did I ever tell you about the lady astronaut I asked on a date? I took her out for lunch.
So what's this week's show about?
Oh, well, I'm down in Mississippi with my good friend Red O'Hearn.
Oh. Yeah.
Red's trapping beaver, and get this, he cooks up some beaver tail.
Beaver tail. Oh, is that any good?
Yeah, watch the show and you'll find out. Hey, could you hand me your mirror?
Why? You look fine.
Here, just
What are you doing? I have done makeup for a lot of big names.
Hey, that's the dude that was going through my garbage the other day.
Oh, so you still think you have a stalker?
Hey, Sandy said somebody was on the roof last night.
Oh, yeah. Then I guess you do, big boy.
Hey, Chris, who was that guy?
He's raising money for the OFDF.
OFDF?
Oh, I've heard of that. That's an orthopedic foundation for dogs. You know, we used that for my Oscar. He had an underbite, so we got him braces from it. All the other dogs were making fun of him. I mean, the poor thing.
These bloodshot eyes of knowledge, too proud to ever behold. The all that is this and nothingness out on the bad river road. Out on the bad river road.
What in the Sam hell are you doing?
I'm trying to fix some beaver tails because everyone always asks me, besides eating beaver, they ask me if I ever had tried the tail because there's somehow the belief that it's the best part of the beaver got started, and I guess it would be because it's a fat storage system, and if you're needing calories to survive, what better thing to eat than fat? But in my past experience, it hasn't been pleasant. And I keep searching for ways to make it good.
Yeah.
And this is a technique a friend of mine shared with me. He said that if you put it's kind of like in Mexican cooking, they char the peppers to peel the skin off. I want to be able to easily remove the skin because I have a recipe that I want to try sauteing it.
What were you doing?
Gonna step up here and my boot caught and I landed on that angle iron.
Ow.
Yeah. I don't move like I used to.
Maybe this is Bob's hour.
I never knew.
All of these jobs Red does, he's being paid by the landowners. They have learned it's worth it. It saves them money, and he's no different than a plumber or electrician. They call him and he does the work for them.
I've got one beaver. This used to be, there was a dam down there. It was a hot spot for a long time. But they fill this in and then they pump the water over the levee. I'm just going slow so we get this all on film.
I realize. Sometimes Red will go so fast that it turns out to be a blur. If trapping was like lucrative like the pharmaceutical industry, there would be a lot of interesting innovations.
Yeah, I agree. But trappers take great pride in making their own equipment a lot of times.
They do.
And so if you come up with the next best thing, someone's going to copy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I remember watching you give a demo, and I don't remember what it was, but you said, you know, we're selling these, but I'm going to pass it around so you can get a good look, and then you can go home and make your own.
Wiebe Trapline Adventures is brought to you by Wiebe Big Game Skinning and Processing Knives. Available now at WiebeKnives.com. Who's Your Trapper Supply, your complete trapline outfitter. And by FurTakerTV.com, the largest selection of trapping videos online.
So I remember watching you give a demo, and I don't remember what it was, but you said, you know, we're selling these, but I'm going to pass it around so you can get a good look, and then you can go home and make your own.
I had a guy come up to the table one time, and it's like I wasn't even there, and he had like a tape measure on his belt, like the janitor has keys, and he was measuring stuff. Like I said, hey man, I'm right here. Oh. He goes, how much for one of them steaks? I said, $20 a dozen or $12 a piece. What? I said, well, that's the pattern price. He didn't think that was funny. Remember last time you came down and you set a bunch of my traps because I had pulled muscle in my back?
Yeah.
I got that fancy setter that looks like a caulking gun after that, and I've grown to like that quite a bit. And when God made beavers, one thing he didn't do is put a good handle on them. So I got this handle for carrying beavers.
Are you criticizing God?
No, I'm saying that I'm kind of upright up there, on par. We're all created in God's image. We just don't realize how powerful we are. So, we're in the process of rediscovery. I used to throw them that far. Now I just try to get them out of the way of remaking the set.
Yeah, back in the day, you could have thrown it into the back of the truck from there.
Halfway.
Well, you know how guys get older, their athletic feats get better and better as they age.
Yep. Say, I can't remember how good I was. Maybe that's the wrong saying. But one thing I learned down here is used to could. When you used to could.
Yeah.
I used to could do that.
You having fun, Bob? You having fun? What do you got in here, Red?
I've got my beaver tails. I charred some and I filleted some. The ones that look like a hunk of fat or like fish are the filleted ones. The ones that have still got the inner skin are the charred ones. And I boiled them and then I simmered them for 10 minutes. Now I'm supposed to dredge them in flour, seasoned flour, and fry them in the fry pan.
Well, I'd like to say they look tasty.
You're just not hungry enough. If you're an indigenous person or a mountain man and you're not getting enough calories and you needed some fat to burn, they would probably be absolutely like a godsend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wiebe Trapline Adventures is brought to you by North American Trappers Dakota Series Snares and Snare Products, DakotaLineFur.com, the largest selection of quality graded tan furs, and by Naturally Bob Pet Shampoo, pet safe shampoo, available at Shields.com.
While Red goes in to wrestle with the beaver, I'll stick back here in the blind and drink a margarita. Red does maintenance for these landowners, and so every year he'll check for beaver. If they have beaver, he'll charge a removal fee, otherwise he gets a maintenance fee. And it saves them from bringing in a backhoe several times a year at thousands of dollars.
See the beaver?
Yeah, I do.
There was no definite crossover trail on the dam, so I just put the place that looked like the most natural spot.
And where was the trap set, Red?
This trap was just in this notch here.
Okay.
A lot of times on these dam corners, you know the beaver's gonna come and check out these dams because they maintain them. So by putting the trap close to where the dam is, a lot of times you're gonna have your trap in the right location. I'm just gonna put the smell of a beaver right there. I'm gonna get this guy out and reset my trap. It's nice catching these adults. See, this is a adult female. See her nipple? But I sure like catching the little ones to carry them to the four-wheeler. When I first looked at this setter, and I can't remember the name of it, I thought, man, that's for old men. And I was, for a long time, I set all my 330s barehanded because I was a hell of a man.
Yeah, everyone knows that, Red.
Yeah, back when boys were boys and men were men. I was leaning toward the man side. That's when there were still just two genders.
And now, where would you rate yourself now? Like 3/4 of a man?
I like to think I'm 100% because I got all the parts.
Well, yeah, but we're talking in terms of, you know, stud worthy, strength and
I'm just glad my wife loves me.
barroom fighting, you know.
I'm out of barroom fighting because the best I ever did was 50%, and that still leaves you with 2 black eyes and a swollen head.
Maybe together we're a full man nowadays.
Yeah, well, since men have been feminized, I think I'm still ahead of the curve.
Okay.
You know, I don't wax, I don't shave anything.
Yeah.
That's I always thought. Being a man, you have a hairy chest, and now I see these guys have hairy chests. They're shaving their chest. What the hell is up with that?
I really don't know.
What do they call that?
Lawnscaping.
Manscaping.
Manscaping.
It's like,
Yeah, it's craziness.
yeah, and the more than two gender thing is too, but we do all have. What do they call it? the masculine and feminine. We all have little bits and pieces, but
I don't.
I'm sure you do. You soft-hearted son of a gun. You'll never get me to admit it. I find though that the older I get, the more emotional I get. And since I did have a stroke, sometimes I just choke up. But I'm not saying that's wrong, it's just I would never do that before, and I would never admit that before.
Wiebe Trapline Adventures is brought to you by the all-new Wiebe Fillet Knife for Fishermen, available now at WiebeKnives.com, by Cumberland's Northwest Trappers Supply, and by Mark Steck Animal Lures, quality baits and lures with proven performance.
Red was supposed to do a demo at the NTA convention last August, and he didn't show. And he had a good excuse. What was the excuse, Red?
That was the first time I never showed when I was scheduled. I had a stroke.
You got a helicopter ride.
Yeah, got to fly over some of my trapping territory, but the pilot wouldn't go back and check out a beaver colony. It's nice seeing your trapping territory from the air.
Yeah, and from a air-conditioned helicopter, you know, climate controlled.
I'll tell you what, a $65,000 ride isn't going to slow down for you to check out a beaver colony. But
So now he's back. Red's back in the saddle, and so that's the good news.
figuratively and literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that was that Aerosmith song, Back in the Saddle Again.
I'm not familiar with that one. In my early days, the radio in my car didn't work.
I've had a lot of vehicles like that. That's why I think such deep thoughts. It's not because I'm a deep thinker, it's just because I don't have a radio in the car. So I got to do something. One thing I found though, it's better to have the nut away from your safety hook.
I think that might be called RTS setter.
I think you're right.
I think the guy is from Nebraska.
I know that's right. That's 280 BMI body grip. Just whacked a young beaver at this colony. Great success, as Borat would say.
Oh, see that crazy guy in the movie?
Yeah, Borat. Yeah, I use some of his lines.
All right, well, Red's this special occasion. It's Matt's birthday.
It's what he always asks for on his birthdays, beaver tail.
Yeah.
And Red, our resident chef, who's a very good cook.
Just like Mama used to make.
Look at that, it's falling off the bone tender. Just like a big bite of fat.
Yeah. I bet the Inuit would eat it.
It does look good. I will say that. I mean, nobody's here really looking forward to this. But it does smell good because he put some sauce on it, and it looks kind of good.
We jazzed it up.
Yeah. I bet that'd go for
Are we ready? 30?
Good price at a restaurant. Oh, that's tender.
Oh, Red. You've outdone yourself.
Tender tail. If it didn't have the flavor of the sauce, I'd say it reminds me of getting the pork out of the pork and beans.
That's okay.
This is my fourth try of beaver tailing, but this is by far the best. But I don't think I would give it to Bob because all the grease would probably make him puke in bed.
Oh, good idea. You're out of luck, Bob. No, it's definitely worth the try.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't make it again.
Red. Red. He ate too much.
First check, first grab of the season. That's pretty good.
The whole wide world's at your fingertips. But it's still just your little